Welcome everybody to the Straight Shooter Wrestling Podcast. Today, Steve and I are going to be doing a draft of the most important WWE wrestling props. We're going to go back and forth, NFL draft style, NBA draft style. We're going to give Steve the number one overall pick. Everyone knows the worst team always gets number one pick. So that's why we're giving it to GM Steve over here. Steve, what do you have as your number one pick, the number one overall pick of WWE props?
First off, Santi, the worst team doesn't always get the pick. They can always defer to get some extra draft picks. So let's settle down.
All right. Okay.
But for the first pick in the inaugural straight shoot prop draft, I have taken the quite handy steel chair. And the reason I've taken this steel chair, because it's always around the ring. It's always under the ring. And it's one of the most commonly utilized props in professional wrestling in all brands.
I'm sorry. So you went with the steel. What a waste of a first overall pick. What an absolute dude. That the steel chair it's going to be a bust. It's going to be a bust for your team, especially because I'm taking the real number one overall pick with my first overall pick. I am taking the Spanish announce table. The Spanish announce table is iconic, legendary, deserves its own spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. There are so many iconic moments that have happened on the Spanish announce table, and you pick the steel chair before the Spanish announce table? Ludicrous. Ludicrous.
No, enough. I'm going to get into this argument now. The steel chair is always available. The Spanish announce table is like Brock Lesnar as the Universal Champion, only shows up on special occasions, all right? So the Spanish announce table, you can have that for a premium live event, but at least I know if I want to go to main event, that steel chair is going to be there and be able to be utilized. Don't even talk about the Spanish announce table.
All right, give me your number two. What's your crappy number two pick here?
My number two is going to surprise you, Santi. I'm going with the elusive brass knuckles.
Ooh.
I'm going with the brass knuckles because just like the steel chair, they're always available, but readily seen. So if they have to go to the deep, deep dungeons of any type of tomfoolery as a good heel would need, the brass knuckles can always get slid into the ring simply by a manager or always hidden in the trunks. The brass knuckles are my number two pick.
I think that's a pretty good pick, honestly. Like in terms of versatility, you picked an oldie but goodie, but my number two pick is a youngster. Only recently appeared. It's only appeared once, and it was so well utilized that it's made it all the way up to my number two overall pick. I am taking Brock Lesnar's tractor from SummerSlam 2022. This youngster has a bright future ahead of it, to the point where its first appearance is going to be shown in WWE highlight reels for the next 50 years. I'm taking this youngster at number two. I do think that I'm reaching here. I might have been able to get it at my number five pick, but I wanted to make sure to get the tractor whenever it was available. So I'm taking Brock Lesnar's tractor as my number two overall pick.
Hey, you know what? I would, if I would have thought of it, I think I would have put that in my top five as well. The tractor became something of wrestling folklore already because it's there, it's gone, it might come back. It's like that, the unicorn of tools for wrestlers to use. But with my number three pick, Santi, I'm going with another oldie, but one that can be revolutionized into the new age. I'm going with the cast.
Oh, a la Cowboy Bob Orton?
Bob Orton, Owen Hart, two of the ones that really utilize that to the best of their abilities. The cast, they can always have a sell. We saw a slightly different version of it with the brace that Raquel Rodriguez recently had on Friday Night SmackDown, but I'm going with the cast.
Dude, I think you could have gotten the cast as an undrafted free agent. I think you wasted a pick here. I think it could have gone undrafted. This one, however, was not going to go undrafted. I am taking JBL's limo. JBL's limo with the horns, and even with its that entrance theme, JBL's entrance theme, that's not JBL's entrance theme. That is JBL's limo's entrance theme, and JBL just has the privilege to be in that limo. All right, I am taking JBL's limo here. It had some fantastic moments with John Cena. It obviously had some fantastic moments with Eddie and JBL himself. I am taking the limo. I cannot believe that you took the cast in your draft. Easily could have gone as an undrafted free agent. Waste of a pick, but I got myself a gem here at number 3.
All right, Santi. Well, listen, I'm going with a historical resource that is getting passed down through the generations. We've seen it in the Attitude Era. We saw it in the Ruthless Aggression Era. We've seen it in the PG era, and we are going to see it from time and time and time again in the future. I'm going with the handy dandy Sledgehammer.
Oh, wow. The Sledgehammer really dropped. It should have been higher.
It should have been higher just because nobody uses it like Triple H ever could. It was almost like a part of him every time he had it in his hands. But the fact that Seth Rollins has been able to come through with it, we saw Cody Rhodes in AEW utilizing it. I do believe we also saw Kevin Owens for a short period of time a couple of years ago bring out the Sledgehammer. So Sledgehammer, number 4.
All right, at my number 4 overall pick, Team Santi likes to select Thumbtacks out of Ohio. Thumbtacks will never not make you grimace, will never not elicit a reaction from you. They are always iconic when they are used. They are seldomly used, so every time they do come out, you know shit is gonna go down. I am taking the Thumbtacks as my number 4 overall pick. Again, I think I might have been able to get it as an undrafted free agent, but I didn't want to take a chance. I didn't want to take a chance that it wasn't going to be on the board.
So Santi, Thumbtacks were my number 5, and that's why I grimaced at the fact that you chose the Thumbtacks.
Too slow. Listen, You're too slow.
They're underutilized because AEW uses them every second match on Dynamite. So listen, they're getting overworked. They're getting overutilized. We're running out of Thumbtacks in the world for professional wrestling. Thumbtacks, it's a wasted pick. You can have it. Moving on.
All right.
Now, I'm going to go completely left field. This one we have not seen in a hot minute, but if it was brought back in the right way, it would be potentially a number 1. I am going with the APA's set, their poker room, door included. How many times have you seen a good brawl break out in that poker room, and how many legends have visited that poker room? Make sure you knock before you come in. It's the APA studio, and it's my number 5 pick.
I think there needs to be a flag on the play there. We said props. This man is picking an entire set in a room. What do you want? The poker table, the door, the floor, the ceiling? I think that there needs to be a foul on the play.
You want a foul on the play? You took a moving limo.
Fair enough. All right. With my final overall pick here, I cannot believe. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to change my mind because I was just going to take the table.
30-second buzzer?
No. Well, here's the thing. I was just going to take the table, but the table is kind of just a lesser version of the Spanish announce table. I feel like it would be a bit of a wasted pick. So instead here, your boy is going to take Kurt Angle's gold medals that he won with a broken freaking neck. The gold medal. Name me another WWE superstar whose name isn't Eugene who has technically been a WWE Olympic gold medalist. I am taking Kurt Angle's gold medals here as the most prized possession to be won outside of wrestling, with the exception of maybe Brock Lesnar's UFC heavyweight belt. But it doesn't get more prestigious than the gold medals that Kurt Angle won at the 1996 games with a broken freaking neck, man.
Sorry, Santi. I think you have just lost the draft.
Bullshit.
Comments are going to decide, but you just threw away a pick on dangling gold that can fold up. At least when I picked the brass knuckles, those don't bend or break.
Mine are worth Mine are priceless.
We're
Priceless.
utilizing it in a wrestling ring.
Priceless heirlooms. Folks, let us know in the comments if there's any particular items that you feel were undrafted that should have been drafted. Let us know what you would pick in your top 5 wrestling props in your draft. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. Make sure to check us out on Locals and support us there for more premium content, and check all of our other links at our socials. But make sure to give this video a like, a comment, subscribe, everything to help us with those algorithms. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Cheers.